following program is intended for mature audiences.
Listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports.
Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes.
And download every episode and more at basicallyasportshow.com.
Now here's your hosts, Zach,
Greg,
Mike.
And you're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Go Jets, huh?
No, you got to be rocking the Calgary jersey tonight, Mike.
Either or.
Obviously, I'm pulling for Calgary too, but the Jets are priority one.
What's the situation here right now? Let's just get right to it. What is the situation with the playoffs here? I signed on today.
All right.
The LA Kings are 3 points back of Winnipeg. And 2 points back of Calgary.
Yes.
Okay.
Winnipeg is the second wild card, and the Kings are 3 points behind Winnipeg for the second wild card. The Kings are 2 points behind Calgary for the third spot in the Pacific. However, Calgary also owns the tiebreaker. So, essentially, the Kings are still 3 points behind the Flames. So, tonight, LA plays in Calgary. If the Flames win, the Kings are eliminated, Flames and Jets clinch.
Beautiful.
Everything's a happy place. If the Kings win, then there's a lot of other scenarios that involve either team getting 2 points at some point. Because the thing that makes this all the more interesting, if the Kings happen to win, is Calgary and Winnipeg play each other on Saturday.
Which could turn out to be an elimination game if things fall the wrong way.
It could turn out to be an elimination game. If the Kings win, then they either have to lose to San Jose or one of those two teams isn't going to make it. Because LA has the tiebreaker on Winnipeg. So you couldn't even have a situation where if the Kings win tonight and then they're tied with Calgary and a point behind Winnipeg, assuming Winnipeg doesn't win in Colorado. By the way, if Winnipeg wins in Colorado tonight, they clinch too.
I wanted to talk about I want to talk about the games not last night, but from 2 nights ago.
Ooh, probably my favorite night of hockey this year.
Calgary, Los Angeles, and Winnipeg were all playing,
as well as Ottawa was playing Pittsburgh. With Boston getting shut out last night and Pittsburgh losing in that shootout. Mm-hmm. Things on the Eastern bubble a little bit dicey too.
Yeah, Ottawa's still in it.
Now, people were saying in the West that, Winnipeg drew St. Louis and LA just had to beat Edmonton and Calgary just had to beat Arizona. Winnipeg had the tougher road ahead. Winnipeg, Havlik, for the second straight night, shut out
a playoff team.
Shut out a potential playoff team.
Yep.
Shut out a playoff team. And the Jets win in St. Louis 1-0. And then, Calgary, it takes them, it's down to the wire there, but they managed to beat Arizona. And then the game that I was watching.
Oh.
The Los Angeles Kings get handled relatively easily by the Edmonton Oilers.
I just want to say last week, I was the one that said, hey, you never know, Edmonton might just pull it together and beat the Kings for us. And they did.
They beat them 8-2 the week before.
Right.
I think it was Jordan Eberle said something after that game, saying that the Kings treated them like they were a junior team.
Well, they play like a junior team most of the time, so that's a fair assessment.
And they've been riding Jonathan Quick down the stretch because these are all big games, but they think, okay, well, we're going back-to-back. We got this game in Edmonton. We killed them. Let's throw in Martin Jones as their backup. And Edmonton, they weren't even playing their starter. They're playing Richard Bachman. And it's like, okay, this is a foregone conclusion. Edmonton goes up 1-0. Then the Kings tie it like less than 2 minutes later. Then it's 2-1. Then it's 3-1.
And then Bachman lets in a goal from the goddamn parking lot.
Yeah. Now he scores his first playoff goal of the whole damn season from the red line. And that was with 6 minutes left. So when they let in that goal, I said, okay, all right, this was fun, Edmonton. You made it a game. This thing's over because the Kings...
How do you score a goal from the red line?
Slap shot.
I know that, but I mean, come on.
Bachman just forgot how to close the 5-hole.
Did he just not see it? I mean, was he blocked?
No, he saw it. He blocked it.
It was straight away. It snuck 5-hole on him. They asked him after the game. He's like, yeah, I realized that I hadn't done anything really spectacular lately, and I wasn't going to make any top 10 lists, so I figured I might as well be on one end of the top 10.
Yeah, I think that's pretty spectacular myself, but. Yeah. But the case remains that last week we were looking at a situation where it seemed like the Kings were a foregone conclusion, and all of a sudden here we are now, and it could be over as early as tonight.
Yeah, if they win tonight, the national nightmare is over. This reign of tyranny will come to an end. I have a YouTube clip queued up posting should this happen tonight.
In that game, it was 4-2. Edmonton scored an empty netter to get the 2-goal lead back, by the end of it. So it was really 3-2. Thing about that, though, was it wasn't that close. As someone who watched the game, Edmonton handled them pretty easily. Mm-hmm. I mean, if Doughty doesn't score that miracle from the red line, the Oilers cruise to a 3-1, maybe even 4-1 victory.
Hey, they stepped up and got the job done. And really, like I said last week, I would rather, at this point, put my hopes on the Edmonton Oilers than I would the San Jose Sharks, which we thought they would need to beat the Kings in the last game of the season.
Well, the Sharks have been eliminated, which is fantastic.
Yeah, and the Sharks had an opportunity to make a run of it, but they decided to lose in Arizona. And so at that point, they just
they lost to Arizona, and then Winnipeg beat Minnesota, right. I think.
Right. Well, that was a couple nights later, and the Sharks were hosting Dallas that night. And the Jets winning eliminated both San Jose and Dallas. So it's the home finale for the Sharks. Maybe you'll go out with a bang or something. Nah, they went out like a completely defeated puppy and got slapped around by Dallas. Yeah, it was actually playing well. Who beat us last night?
I think that we should talk about the best team in hockey right now, the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Oh God! What have they won? 12 straight or something?
I've lost track.
I think it's 9. Look at the Blue Jackets. Their record is 40, 35, and 5. The Los Angeles Kings record, 39, 26, and 15. I
just look at this Jackets team, and this is the what could have been year. Mm-hmm. Had they been healthy all season, who knows?
Yep. Because they're 10 points out of a playoff spot right now. You look at the comparison between their record and the Kings' record. If they had the 10 more overtime losses that the Kings have, the 15 total overtime losses, that's 10 points. That puts them in a tie with Ottawa and Boston for the last spot.
I'm okay with this, though, because I think that finishing strong like this, you're going to get a decent draft pick. You're going to be able to build a little bit more. I like this. We talked about this way back at the beginning of the season, that it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for them to miss the playoffs this year.
But it's not the greatest thing.
It's not the greatest thing, but still, all things considered, this would have been a lot worse had they gone on that little run they had last year and then played like Buffalo and Edmonton all season this year. That would have been a different thing. But once they were healthy, they showed that last year wasn't some sort of aberration or a fluke. So, would I rather be in the playoffs after the excitement of last year? Hell yes. But all things considered, this isn't really that bad.
After the next 2 games play out, they'll have a total of I think it's like 506 man games lost, which is remarkable, the amount of injuries they've
That's
had.
What I mean. So all things being equal, they're going to miss the playoffs, but they'll hope. Hell, they've even got an outside shot at Connor McDavid, right?
Yeah, outside.
Anything can happen, but I'm okay with it.
I think they're in the realm of only having like one ping pong ball.
That's okay. That's better than none.
1 or 2.
Oh, my God, the whole world will just lose their fucking minds if Columbus wins that pick.
No, Columbus isn't going to win it.
You never know.
You know who's going to win it. It's either Toronto or Philadelphia.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
The worst thing that could possibly happen, actually, there's several terrible things that could happen.
I know.
Assuming LA misses the playoffs, mm-hmm. You have LA, you have San Jose.
Oh, could you imagine San Jose if they got... Well, now we don't have to rebuild.
Yeah, now we're fine. But speaking of Columbus and almost making the East is just as tight. Ottawa continues their nice run. They won in overtime in Pittsburgh the other day. Pittsburgh is the first wild card at 96 points, 2 games left. Boston is the second wild card at 95 points, 2 games left. And Ottawa is tied with Boston, 95 points. Boston has the regulation overtime win tiebreaker. They both have 2 games left.
Who do they play?
Who do they play? That's a good question. I have the schedule on the other tab.
I forget that Ottawa even exists, but honestly, I would rather see them in the playoffs than the Bruins again. And I like the Bruins just fine, but I just want new blood.
New Boston.
Let's see.
Yeah, I imagine you don't have a lot of good things to say about the Bruins, Mike.
All right, tonight, Ottawa is playing at the Rangers. It's the Rangers' home finale. They have literally 0 to play for.
Not a thing. Nope.
Boston is playing in Florida. And actually, the other interesting thing in the standings, because Detroit is playing at Montreal, Boston's only 2 points behind Detroit for third spot in the Atlantic, too. So there's still a lot of flux there. And Pittsburgh is 2 points behind the Islanders for third in the Metro Division.
Is Detroit?
So there's still a lot of
Detroit hasn't clinched yet, have they?
Detroit has not clinched yet, no.
Ooh, this could get interesting.
No, technically, Ottawa could knock Detroit out if Detroit loses their last two. But I don't. Detroit's last two are Montreal and Carolina. Tomorrow night, the Islanders play Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh could move up into the third spot. The Islanders could drop down to the wild card. That's a huge, huge game. And then Saturday, everyone in the league is playing on the final day of the season. Ottawa plays at Philly, Detroit at Carolina, Pittsburgh at Buffalo. So Pittsburgh should make the playoffs, unless they lose to Buffalo on the last day of the season, which would be hilarious. Detroit could move around. Detroit could fall out if they don't play well. Boston is their last game is at Tampa. So Ottawa has to win their final two games against the Rangers and Flyers to make anything of it.
But Ottawa's got. I mean, the Rangers have got, like you said, nothing to play for.
Right.
They've got a shot there.
And Ottawa is almost just as hot as your Jackets are right now. Let's see, they are 6-2-2 in their last 10, but coming on strong. Yeah, I love this. I love that the last day of the season, there's the last 3 days of the season, there's still so much to like sink your teeth into. You don't have everything all locked up. You're not just sitting around waiting for next Wednesday when the playoffs start. There's still stuff to happen. Buffalo hasn't clinched last place yet.
I was just going to bring that up. Arizona's sitting right there, just 2 points back.
Yeah. So if Buffalo did beat Pittsburgh on the last day of the season, they might just screw themselves because Buffalo has the loser tiebreaker. They would finish lower than Arizona should they finish tied. But they're not out of the woods there yet either. How awful would that be for Buffalo to go through all of this?
I've been thinking that all along. I'm still convinced that they will not get Connor McDavid.
Because here's the thing: even if they finish second, they could fall out of the top two altogether and not get either of them. If they finish last, they're guaranteed McDavid or Eichel, and they're okay with that. If they finish second and somebody behind them in Arizona wins the thing, they fall down to third, and they get neither, and then they're in a world of hurt in terms of jump-starting the rebuild with one of these two guys.
Right. Well, like I said before we started, we are in better shape today than we thought we were going to be this time last week.
Yeah.
Because I think we all pretty much had agreed that the Kings were probably going to do what they do. And
then they would have made the second wild card spot, and then they had to play the Ducks in the first round, and then I'd have a heart attack.
I did not see any Hockey Tuesday. I was, as you could all imagine, probably caught up in all the baseball that was taking place. So
Base what?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, baseball, opening day. You too happy seeing things happen in the sunshine?
That's nice, too. I have all the windows open today for the first time, it seems like, in a year. Yeah.
See, here's the thing. It's warm enough now that the snow's melted, but since the snow's melted, we've just had nothing but rain, so I still can't open the windows.
I actually rode my motorcycle last week for a couple hours. It got warm enough to do that. But, yes, I'm happy that baseball is back. To me, it's the best time of the year because I've got baseball starting, the Stanley Cup Playoffs are starting. It doesn't get any better. And if you really want to do the whole sports thing, you can even pay attention to the NBA, I suppose.
Yeah,
well, anybody would, but I'm just saying you could. Yeah.
Look at the Spurs making a late season push in the NBA.
We're not ready to talk about NBA yet, Mike.
Okay.
Are we ever ready to talk about NBA?
We still got to wait 2 weeks to give them a cursory glance over at the playoffs.
They're still 2 weeks away from the playoffs starting?
Yeah.
Oh, for Pete's sake. Okay.
For 2 weeks? No, I think maybe a week.
Still.
I think most teams have like 2 or 3 games left.
Okay.
I think it starts like the weekend after.
We the North!
But breaking news, Greg, you'll be devastated to hear. The Indians lose their combined no-hit bid with 1 out left in the 9th inning.
Oh, what a heartbreaker! What a heartbreaker!
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but a combined no-hitter does nothing for me. I'm not that impressed. I mean, I've thrown 2 or 3 innings of no-hit baseball, and I'm not even a pitcher. But yes, I'm happy baseball's back. And
my favorite story so far in baseball season, though, it's not anything to do with a team or a player or standings or home runs or any of that. Wrigley Field has been better than advertised.
Oh, God. Has it just? It has been glorious. Oh, my God. You haven't heard?
So hilariously funny. Okay.
No.
Oh, this is great.
Night, Sunday night. Wrigley Field gets the honor of opening the baseball season with the world watching.
Yeah, they didn't have the bleachers.
There's no bleachers, so there's giant tarps of Ernie Banks covering the bleachers.
I thought that was a nice touch. Yeah, Banks is a nice touch. I liked that.
Yeah, they have the scoreboard, which, scoreboard's nice. But the other thing they were renovating, the other thing they were renovating at Wrigley Field was the bathrooms.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess for some ridiculous reason, there were only 2 working men's bathrooms in the whole damn
Oh my God.
for opening freaking night. So that led to hour-long bathroom lines that went onto the concourse.
People were using their beer cups to relieve themselves, Mike.
They were going into corners, placing their beer cups they drink in line, presumably, and just pissing in them. So for the next day, they took a day off, and for the second game, they brought in just an army of porta potties.
Yeah.
Why isn't this stadium finished?
By the way, there are signs all over the place that they had installed before the first couple of games to let people know that they were working on the bathrooms. It says in almost kind of condescending type, future home of better restrooms, in parentheses, relieved?
Now they're just taunting you. So why the hell isn't this stadium fully functional in time for the season?
To be fair, Mike, they didn't know it got really cold and weathery in Chicago in the winter. How were they supposed to know?
Oh, yeah. It probably snowed completely out of character and just threw their schedule off.
Right,
yeah. I mean, usually it's just sunny and 72. And
the better question is, why isn't this place a national landmark, and why aren't they playing in a brand new stadium somewhere else?
I'm assuming that the construction company that's doing all this is, in fact, just a front for the mob.
Well, it is Chicago, after all.
Chicago, they tried to get it approved for them to work 24-hour clocks on the construction, and the city of Chicago said no. The Chicago Tribune did an interview with the vice president of ballpark operations for the Cubs. Carl Rice is his name. Rice on the bathroom problems. Whether it was the renovation and anything that happened during the offseason, we haven't really been able to figure that out. We
don't know why things fallen apart, but they have.
Rice denies that the city is concerned with the potential health code violations because if you look at some of the pictures, the porta potties are mere feet away from the condiment tables.
I'm looking at some of these pictures. There's a shot here of one of the corners with the piss cups. There were 13 of them lined up in a corner.
Yep.
You see, that's always been my point, though. Wrigley Field, yes, it's historical, it's wonderful and all that, but on its best day, it's still a shit show because everything's so old and out of date.
Go Cubs, go.
Yeah, it's a shame, too, because this is – I mean, I got to say this about the crowd. I'd never seen a Chicago Cubs crowd as fired up as they were on Sunday night for that opening night game. I'd never seen them like that. They were just really psyched up. Then, of course, the Cardinals shut them out 3-0, and that was that. Back to normal.
They've been led to believe that there's some sort of hope for them.
It was cool to see for a few minutes, and I think when – I forget who it was, hit the double, and they scored the first run, and that was it. They were dead.
Andy put it perfectly on his Facebook page that night. He said, Cubs fans at about 7 p.m., hey, baseball's back. We're going to be really excited. Let's go. Cubs are going to do well this year. Cubs fans at 10 p.m., oh, right.
And then the Cardinals, the Cardinals just cardinaled. They just came in and they just played the right way.
Dude, they cardinaled hard Sunday night. I mean, they literally did just all the little things to win that game.
This makes me feel so much better as a Leafs fan, by the way. At least the Maple Leafs can get their building operational in time for the season.
The Cubs, they were able to play on Wednesday. And on Wednesday, they play on one of the local network channels, ABC7. So this was part of the intro to the broadcast. You might spot some errors in the team locations.
The San Francisco Mariners.
Like the San Francisco Mariners and the Cincinnati Reds and the Milwaukee Brewers.
Oh, that's spelled correctly, Milwaukee.
And the Washington Nationals.
Holy hell! This is Chicago. This is what, like the number 3 market in the country, number 4, something like that. Wow. Well, but honestly, this is to give you an idea. I work in television. These are the kind of hacks that get jobs. People that are good cost too much money.
I understand people who are good cost money, but surely someone who's literate isn't outside of the price range.
You'd be surprised. You would be surprised.
I have no training in this field, but if all that I need to do is type in a city's name properly, I'm probably qualified for this.
Yeah, most of these people probably aren't even sports fans that do these. It's crazy. That's why you never want to watch, like the local affiliates. It's better when you've got the regional network. They know what they're doing and all that.
Like I understand if someone's not a sports fan and they just see the S on Seattle Mariners. Yeah, maybe they think, okay, San Francisco. But for someone from the Midwest, or at least that knows cities, shouldn't you know not to misspell Cincinnati? Or you're in Chicago. Milwaukee's practically a goddamn suburb.
That's funny, Milwaukee. That's how it sounds.
Milwaukee.
That's just
we're going. Yeah, fucking
right.
That's more like Boston. I can't get my Chicago.
Oh, the poor Cubs.
Go to Milwaukee.
I mean, they had so much hope, and we're 3 days into the season, and they're already devastated. This is just terrible.
They're fun.
This is terrible.
Hey, at least my Blue Jays sham-wowed the Yankees. I don't know. I kind of made that up, but
I like it. That's good. I like it. I'm going to write that down. We're going to put that into the. It's going to be Bass Cannon from here on out. That ShamWow is now a thing. As a matter of fact,
yeah. There's a local guy that does sports updates overnight on Fox Sports Radio here in LA, and whenever a team beats another team, he tries to use like a kind of like a pun to like say it. So like if the Buffalo Sabres beat somebody, he'll be like the Sabres / the Rangers.
One of those guys.
Or the Angels holy smoke the Indians.
God.
I forget.
But the Jays ended up dropping the second game to the Yankees, but oh god, that opening game for the Blue Jays season was glorious.
What they beat them? What was it like?
6-1.
6-1, yeah.
And it's kind of like this, where it's like, if the Blue Jays would just play, like if all the players on the Blue Jays just played up to not even their full potential, just around 75% each game, they do all right. But no. Because on paper, they've got a great team. But every single goddamn year, it's like everybody has the worst possible season of their careers.
Was R.A. Dickey their opening day starter, the knuckleball guy?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, see, that's your problem right there. They're only a half game out. Now, granted, we're only 3 games into the season, but still.
I'm not even looking at standings.
Standings aren't worth anyone's time until maybe July.
I just wanted to see if the Cubs had won a game yet.
It's like when people. It's like
they're 1-1. Okay, go ahead.
It's like when people start posting like the NFL divisional standings after week 1. It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Well,
guys?
I went in the MLB thread on the boards opening day. I started looking around and I'm seeing all these people like, boy, I saw a lot of things I didn't like today, and I'm thinking it's one game, guys. They have 161 to play. I think the only thing better than NFL overreaction is MLB overreaction.
Then you have not paid attention to Toronto sports media the day after the first Maple Leafs game of the NHL season. You want to see overreaction?
Well, we've documented it. Every time the Leafs win, they're cup contenders. Every time the Leafs lose, they're number 1 draft picks.
Exactly. I mean, so this is nothing. The thing that I got out of that MLB thread, by the way, was the franchise 4.
Oh yes.
The what?
I mean, you can do it for some teams.
This, Greg?
Oh, okay. Here we go. I'm clicking on it now.
For the All-Star game this year, MLB is basically asking fans to select Mount Rushmores for their teams.
Kind of like that NBA thing that we did a while back.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So some of them are kind of interesting, like the Yankees for sure, the Red Sox, others. Click on the Tampa Bay Rays one, Greg, and Pick out the top 4 Tampa Bay Rays of all time, please.
All right, is there a link to this?
Oh, there's a link, yeah.
Oh, there it is. Okay, let me see here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we want to go to the Rays, right?
Yeah, please click on the Rays. Tell me who is the top 4 Tampa Bay Rays of all time, in your estimation.
Well, in all seriousness,
yes.
If you've got to pick from that group, all right.
Well, that's the thing. Look at the group.
I know.
They didn't even throw the courtesy bone to Wade Boggs or anything. They just...
If I had to pick from this group, I think it's Evan Longoria, Ben Zobrist.
Ben Zobrist?
Yeah, he played there a long time.
Oh, my God.
Okay, that doesn't mean anything.
Well, dude, look at these guys. It's not like you got a whole hell of a lot to choose from.
How is Wade Boggs not even on that list? Okay, just put him on there.
He played a season there, I think.
Yeah, but he got his 3,000th hit. Everyone recognized him in the Technicolor Tampa Bay Devil Rays jersey.
He got his 3,000th hit there, which was a home run against the Indians, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
And look at what the list looks like without him, man. Just come on.
Well, there's a couple guys in here. I think Carl Crawford. Now, again,
Carl Crawford, okay.
I'm not talking about like
any list of best players of all time that has Scott Kazmir on it, you have an issue.
Yeah, well, I think you can say that with Kazmir or Carlos Pena, either one. Carlos Pena couldn't hit water if he fell out of a fucking boat. Zobrist he's a guy, okay, and I'm rarely ever the guy to go to the sabermetrics thing, but from the advanced metrics, he's a pretty solid player.
Yeah, supposedly.
I'll give him that. Melvin Upton Jr.?
That's B.J. Upton. Melvin's his new name.
Oh, he changed his name?
Yeah.
Well, that explains it. I'm like, wow, there's another Upton in the league.
It's B.J., who got traded to San Diego.
Right.
To be with Justin again.
But Carl Crawford was a very solid player his years in Tampa Bay. Probably the best thing they had going for him.
I've got no problem putting Crawford on for a Tampa Bay Rays best list. It's just...
I'd say Crawford and Longoria are deserving, yeah.
But the thing is, like, when you have to pick a list and three-quarters of the list are guys currently on your team.
Which is funny, by the way. Look at the Tampa Bay Rays and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Expansion cousins. And just take a look at the franchise trajectories for both of them and just kind of see where they ended up.
You can, even if you click on the Rockies, you can do something with it. Or the the Marlins, for all the jokes you throw about them trading guys away, you could still pick a 4 best Marlins.
Oh, well, the Marlins have had great teams. It's just that they always get rid of the players.
Right.
Yeah, the Marlins, you've got some – I'm not even going to go with the obvious guys that only played there a year or two, like Gary Sheffield, but I think Jeff Conine, again, from an overall standpoint, from their franchise, I think Conine's a good choice. Charles Johnson, people don't remember how good that guy was. He was a good catcher. Mike Lowell was really good when he played with the Marlins.
The other funny thing on that list is if you click on the Nationals, it's not who's the best National, it's who's the best Expo. there are no Washington Nationals that deserve that recognition just yet.
Ryan Zimmerman's on there.
Right, well, because the thing that's
Bryce
stupid
Harper,
also,
come on.
They put on a current player on every single one of those lists.
Really?
So, like, if you go to the Angels one, you can pick Garrett Anderson, Tim Salmon, Vlad Guerrero, Nolan Ryan, all those guys. Or you can add Mike Trout on prematurely. Like, yes, in a couple of years, you could probably say for sure that he would be one of the top 4 of all time on the Angels, but he's not yet. So I don't you shouldn't pick based on potential.
Well, not only that, but there are a few glaring omissions on the Angels list here. Where's Rod Carew?
Did most of his career in Minnesota.
Yeah, but he did a good portion of it in LA.
I wrote in Rod Carew on when I did it.
Reggie Jackson.
Again, many more years in Oakland and New York.
Okay, where is I can't remember his name anymore. He was a third baseman for the
Troy Glaus?
No. Well, Troy Glaus isn't a bad choice either. No, he was a guy that played there longer than that.
He should have been on that list there too.
Oh, God, I can't think of his name. Bobby Grich, but he was mostly an Oriole.
And he was a second
thinking of Brian Downing. No, it wasn't Downing.
Gary DiSarcina?
That's what I'm thinking of, yeah.
Really?
He was a pretty good ball player.
He owns a chain of barbecue restaurants out here now.
He wasn't bad.
Yeah.
But, Vlad, he played, how many years was he in Montreal before he came to the Angels?
I think he ended up playing more games as an Angel than he did as an Expo.
He's one of my all-time favorite players. I loved that guy. Any guy that can hit a ball off the bounce and get a single out of it, you got to love.
He won an MVP as an Angel.
And Tim Salmon, again, a guy that I really thought just was going to be a Hall of Fame player. He was just something else.
Look at the numbers listed under him, though. That 299 always kills me.
Jim Fregosi, that's going back a ways.
Yeah, right. The thing is, you forget how old the Angels franchise is. They just weren't really relevant until Nolan Ryan in the 80s.
Oh, I can tell you how old it is. It's 5 days older than I am. They started playing the 15th. I was born the 20th, so there you go.
And then the 2002 World Series team kicked them into permanent relevance, which is nice.
Let's see who's Mike's Blue Jays got here.
Got to put in Joe Carter. I mean,
right.
he home runned his way into that. Carlos Delgado, he was a big part of that team during like their 90s down years when I first really got into baseball. So maybe that's just association more than anything.
He was a good player. He was a good power hitter. If I'm picking up this list, Joe Carter, Robbie Alomar, Dave Stieb. Those are my three guys. I guess maybe George Bell too, but
I put Alomar, Carter, Delgado, and
you get four, right? Yeah.
Halladay.
I'll put in Roy Halladay.
Yeah.
I'd go Alomar, Bell, Carter, Stieb, and Halladay. See, that'd be a tough call because Stieb, there's a guy that is kind of forgotten, although Halladay's got better career numbers. Right? We'll go with Halladay.
The only knock on Halladay is he never played in the playoffs with them.
Dave Stieb was a really good pitcher, too. Who do the Indians have? It's probably I was going to say a bunch of old guys.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see.
Can't vote against a guy named Knapp.
I don't even know. I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
Knapp
Lajoie, I think is how you say it. I've never been a big Indians fan. Does that strike you guys as odd that I've lived here my whole life and I've just never really...
But you were born closer to Toledo, right?
Yeah.
I can't speak as to why that would be, but, as I was saying before the show in the Skype chat, I always sort of forget that the Indians exist. Like they're just one of those teams I always forget about. Major League, the movie Major League is probably their biggest contribution to my life personally.
Yeah. They made the World Series when I was 5.
They lost to the the Marlins.
They had that stretch in the 90s where they made the World Series in 95 and 97, and they were good until, I think, 99.
Who'd they lose to in 95?
The Braves.
Braves, yeah.
Oh, was that who the Braves beat?
Won.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one time, of course.
15 consecutive division titles, 1 World Series.
And who did they beat? A team from Cleveland, of course.
Are you still on that page?
Which page?
The Franchise 4 page?
Yes, I am.
Go down to the bottom and click on MLB Pioneers. Tell me about these guys' careers. You must have loved seeing these guys.
Yeah, that's a few years before my time, Zach.
Yeah? Just a few?
Just a few. I can talk about the greatest living players if you want. Oh, holy hell. I've seen every single one of these guys except Koufax.
Greg here remembers when Babe Ruth was just an upstart rookie.
Yeah, I remember when he was a pitcher, yeah.
I think that this is a weird designation, greatest living players. So just because Stan Musial recently died means that he can't get in this list?
Yep.
This one shows my age, though. Except for Sandy Koufax, I saw every single one of these guys play. Holy hell.
Funny story about Sandy Koufax. When I was on a slow pitch softball team a couple summers back, I took a magic marker and wrote Koufax on the back of my jersey. That was an in-joke, but whatever.
Yeah,
I get it.
Jewish
joke, right?
Yes.
We are 5 days away from the debut of the new Cleveland Browns uniforms.
Let's talk about those leaks. Have you seen those leaks, Greg?
No, I have not. Uh-oh, Zach sighed. Is this bad?
Well, they're okay.
My initial thoughts, just as a teaser, are that if these are legit, they could have been a hell of a lot worse.
But they could have been a hell of a lot better.
So here's my thing, because my next point was going to be that after we get the reveal next week, I was going to have a press conference to announce who my new AFC team was going to be. Should I hold off on that?
I tentatively hold off on that until you see these. I do agree with Zach that they could have done a hell of a lot better, and ultimately I think the real reaction to take away from all of this is, if these are real, what was the point?
Okay, well, has anybody got a link? I can take a quick look here. Do I have to dig through the thread? Because I've avoided that thread because it's just gotten pointless.
Okay, I got a link for you.
Well, there's a newer thread that has them right at the top.
No, we graveyarded that one.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I thought it helped me because I didn't want to sort through the nonsense either.
Okay.
Well, deal with the nonsense, sir.
How dare you? I'm an upstanding member of this community. I demand to be heard.
The shoulder stripes are what I thought they'd be.
Yeah. Well, they're not shoulder stripes. They're not on the shoulder.
Or sleeve stripes.
They're
sleeve
arm stripes. They're just
stripes,
sleeve stripes.
That's what I meant.
Yeah,
shoulder stripes.
And and people compared them to other Nike replicas, they go onto the front of the jersey.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem.
And
is that all we've got, or the white?
Shadow are kind of meh. The Cleveland font is meh. Like Mike said, they could have been a hell of a lot worse, but
if these are legit, and there's a chance they might not be, because there's a story that came out where the Browns said these were taken at Dick's Sporting Goods. Mm-hmm. The Browns came out and said that their new jerseys haven't even been shipped yet. So there's a chance that these are not legit. But
it's also something they could very well just say.
Yeah,
and we know there's going to be 3 jerseys, so all you can assume is that the other one's just going to be brown with the colors.
What strikes me as odd is that there's no gray in these. I mean, we were all told that gray was going to be a huge part.
Unless that white one is actually gray.
I don't think it is.
I mean, you never know. It could be the lighting, but
I have to agree. I mean, it could have been
talking out of their ass, and that's not a thing.
It could have been a whole lot worse, and if this is what they end up with, I guess that's fine. But there's still a huge downgrade from what they were wearing before.
They look like generic movie football team.
Right, yeah.
And I just don't understand what the point is. I mean, if this is going to be what it is, then why change?
Exactly.
To sell new stuff.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I mean, see the sleeve stripes. That's going to be the thing, and they're on the front of they make their way to the front of the jersey. That's terrible.
Supposedly, if the comparisons are correct, then yeah,
it could have been worse, but I don't know if this is enough to keep me around.
Well, I'm
almost disappointed. Actually,
10 days.
Right? No, me too.
No, we got 4 days to go. Yeah, I mean,
something.
I either wanted them to not touch them, or if they were going to do it, just blow up the whole world and just piss everybody off. I'm kind of disappointed that they're this plain and simple.
Yeah,
and especially though they were talking like, okay, we stuck with the tradition for the logo and the helmet, but we're really going to go wild with the jerseys, and this is what they come out with.
Yeah, that's another thing.
We're going to go wild. We're going to extend the stripe onto the chest.
And we're adding the drop shadow.
Do you think? Okay,
what do you think about that, Cleveland?
I always wonder this when this happens, that they kind of throw it out there, see what the reaction is going to be, and they might have had crazy uniforms that were one of the prototypes. They said, okay, you know what? They're going to lose their minds if we do this. Let's go to something a little less, dramatic or drastic.
Well, the funny thing is, in that Cleveland Browns thread, people are coming up with like Nike speak now to describe the new these leaked uniforms. The best one I've heard is that the drop shadow represents the shadow caused by the flames coming off of Cleveland's Flaming River.
Pretty good. I like that.
Oh wait, no. If you keep going, there's a more legitimate leak from yesterday.
That's already been debunked, actually.
Oh, has it?
Yeah, Colorworks said that basically the template for that style guide hasn't been used by the NFL for like 3 years.
Well, that's why it says it's a work in progress.
Well, let's see.
But I can see those very well ending up being, the actual thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe the pants stripe is a little different, but
I'm with Zach though. I mean, what's the point? I mean, why even do this? Just change the helmet and fix the colors if that's all you're worried about.
I didn't even think they need to change anything.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, but if you're worried about, like, if you want a brighter orange or whatever the whole logic behind that was, just do that.
The passion of Cleveland demands a New Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. God, it seemed too simple for all the buildup, don't you think?
I mean,
yeah, and it's saying Cleveland on the front instead of Browns is interesting to me. But
how so?
I don't know. Just
is it going to be that big?
Before.
You think?
Yeah, that's another thing I'm not liking about these is that they seem they look very collegiate.
I was just going to say very Oklahoma Sooners-ish, where they've got I don't like that in the NFL.
Well, didn't they use the Oklahoma Sooner orange, or was it the Oregon State orange?
No, you're thinking Oklahoma State orange.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Oh, yeah, no.
Oh, you said Sooners.
Sooners, yeah. Don't the Sooners have, like, Sooners across the front of their jerseys? And Texas has, like, Texas on theirs. And I don't know. I'm not ready to buy in on these.
I was expecting a Buccaneers-level disaster.
So was I.
And these and on one hand, I'm relieved that they're not going to be terrible. But on the other hand, I'm of the opinion, again, why change anything if this is all you're going to do?
Well, that's the thing.
If all you're going to do is extend the stripes onto the torso and add a drop shadow, then what was the point of anything?
Well, they changed the stripes to look like to try to match the helmet stripes is what it looks like. and they added the orange jersey. But the thing is, these are not an improvement over what they were wearing before.
But is it a downgrade?
I think so, but not nearly as significant of a downgrade as I thought it was going to be.
Right. It's a slight downgrade, but it's not like, oh my God, these are terrible, but it's also not, oh my God, these are crazy. It's just like they're generic football uniforms.
Very much so.
It's like if you were going to make draft day and make a team in Cleveland that wasn't actually the Browns,
that's what they would look like.
This is what they would probably look like.
Exactly, yeah.
If they weren't allowed to use NFL trademarks, this is probably what it would look like.
Well, I don't know. We'll find out in 4 days, but I just don't get why they made such a big deal out of it if that's all they came up with.
Nothing is adding up. When they released their quote-unquote new logo, they said that the uniforms they'd be going wild with the uniforms. This doesn't match up with that. You know, we were told that they would be adding gunmetal gray to their uniforms. Now, we haven't seen the pants, but there's no gray on the helmet or on the jerseys that we've seen so far.
Well, did we get a legitimate source on the gray? Or wasn't that just one of those, I know somebody that works at Nike type things? I don't remember.
It was apparently a beat reporter for the Browns who consistently has reputable information.
Okay.
I don't know. It just seems so odd that.
I like I said, I almost wonder if they just saw because the reaction around here has been, what are they doing and why are they doing it? You know, leave the uniforms alone. I'm wondering if they said, well, we better back off a little bit here. Because you know when you do this, you don't just get the one prototype. I mean, you've got 4, 5, 6 to choose from. You know, there may have been some like really idiotic looking uniform that we were all hoping for, and they said, "Yeah, we're not going to go that route now."
Today, because the way that merchandising works these days, by the time a new logo would get leaked or is released, they've got warehouses full of new merchandise that they've got to sell. So you're never going to see the most you're going to see is a Buff-a-Slug situation where everyone tells them it sucks, and then they just kind of keep it for 5 years before quietly getting rid of it.
Yeah, kind of like what the Dolphins are going to do.
If there's a God in heaven, yes.
Speaking of football related changes, Army is no longer going to be the Black Knights.
Boo! I like the Black Knights name.
What are they going to be?
They're going to go back to their original name, the Cadets.
I just like the name Knights, and I want to see more of it in sports. Like it's underused in my opinion, so it just kind of sucks to see one team that was using it go away from it.
Honestly, I've always called them the Cadets. I don't know how long they've been the Black Knights, but they've never been the Black Knights. Since
99.
Yeah, I mean, it just never took with me. They've always been the Cadets.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense because Navy's the midshipmen.
Right.
Air Force is the Falcons, but...
Yeah, what else are they going to be?
Air Force just seems a little different than the other schools in that it's actually good at sports.
I was just going to say, yeah, they win.
Yeah, I always thought that was interesting. Why can't Navy and Army be half decent at sports like they used to be, like Air Force is now?
I just think it's funny because up here in Canada, we only have one. It's the Royal Canadian Military Institute.
Do they play moose polo?
No,
Between
but
the branches?
They're a powerhouse in curling, let me tell you.
They have a really cool sports team name.
What is it?
The Paladins.
Nice. That's not bad.
You don't see a lot. You don't see a lot of that. So
there's a reason.
Oh, okay.
I like Paladins. I think it's pretty cool. I don't know what it is, but I like it.
It's a fancy word for wizard.
No, knight is what it means.
So do they play football?
I believe they used to, but the program has been canceled. My grandfather actually played for their football team.
Cool.
Years and years back, but I'm pretty sure that the football program has been canceled and has been for some time. Although their hockey team plays West Point annually.
Cool.
So
I just know that West Point, you guys remember those uniforms they came out with for the Navy game that one year where it was the camo helmet, black jersey, camo pants?
Yeah.
That thing was totally badass.
The service academies are the only schools that can actually use camo in their uniforms.
And then Air Force did the uniforms one year where they did the Air Force Thunderbirds helmet. Those were sweet. And Navy's done some good ones too. But yeah, anybody else, you shouldn't even be allowed to put that shit on your uniforms. But at least when Army does it, it's legit.
Yeah, they're actual soldiers.
Yeah.
The Coastal Carolina Chanticleers will have a new new turf next season.
Is it going to be purple or something?
Teal.
Well, that's green, right? I thought there was an NCAA rule against that.
No, because Boise's blue, Eastern Washington's red.
Yeah, but I thought they were grandfathered in, and you weren't allowed to do this anymore. Although this, I can't see really being a problem.
I mean, it's not. It's teal, so it's kind of close. So it's not as egregious. It still looks stupid, though.
I like it.
God damn it! You know what? Just play football on a green field.
It is green.
No, it's not. No, it's aqua. It's aqua. I was at the deciding game of the 1993 World Series.
You were not.
I was, yes. I can't remember anything about it other than the fact that there were a lot of people there. Like, I remember being in a crowd. That's my memory of it. I don't like saying, oh, I remember, because I don't remember when any of that went down. I just kind of know I was there.
You were still there.
I was still there, but because of that, and because, like, my grandparents, who were big baseball fans, like, when I was little, they decked me out in Blue Jays gear. So, like, I love the Maple Leafs. Maple Leafs will always be my NHL team, even though it's an abusive relationship. But like, my absolute favorite sports team, just by a bit, it's the Blue Jays.
I got to say, I am shocked that the Blue Jays edge out the Maple Leafs. I would have never guessed that in a million years.
It's just a bit, but yeah.
Wow.
It's the Blue Jays. I love the Blue Jays. That's why I love their current rebrand, their latest rebrand so much, because it was like, finally my favorite team looks like my favorite team again.
Best. I'm going to say it. The best uniform in baseball. I'm going to come out of that with
Blue Jays.
Yep.
Gasp.
I put it up there. I'd also put it up there. I put it up there with. I know you hate this one, Greg, but it's the gold Oakland A's alternate.
I love colors. That's why I hate when people keep saying, like, you read all these threads, the Oilers need to get rid of those colors. My God, it's like what the Oilers look like. Shut up.
No, remember when they did that? That they had the like teardrop weird looking thing and those darker colors they had.
Oh, the RoboSperm logo.
Yeah.
Yes, the RoboSperm logo.
No, the only thing I don't like about the A's, the gold, is it's got the Walmart piping on it. That's the only thing I don't like about it. I love the color. I love everything about it. If they had done like something based off the throwback of the gold jerseys they wore back in the 70s, that would have been awesome.
So pullovers?
Not necessarily a pullover, but just something with less, where the piping just not so big and thick.
Sans belt. Zach's right. We need more color in sports.
I think in baseball in particular. I agree.
I have no problem with the home white road gray dynamic, but I don't mind changing it up.
Well, I was watching the Dodgers were playing the Angels in an exhibition game last weekend, and the Dodgers wore their blue. I guess they were their batting practice jerseys, I'm assuming?
because they were spring training jerseys, so they both still wore their spring training jerseys.
But the Dodgers look killer with the Dodger blue.
They tried
jersey.
it once, and they're never going to do it again.
Yeah, but they did it wrong, because like they had the blue and it looked cool, but then they also outlined everything in silver, and it just looked stupid.
Right, they had the stupid piping, right? The big thick piping, if I remember right. Yeah, see, that's you got to stay away from that. But like the Angels, I love the alternates. Those are awesome. The red ones.
That's the jersey I own and wear.
Yeah, it's the same one I have. Yeah.
Just pick a sleeve patch.
And I've also got my Reggie.
I bought my jersey before the sleeve patch intrusions.
Yeah, mine doesn't have patches on either sleeve, but it's just a replica. It's not a game jersey. So.
Well, even the replicas now have like the replicas now. I think just have the roundel.
Well, that's
they either just have the roundel or they just have the A.
Hopefully it's the roundel.
I'm waiting for a Greg redoes Major League Baseball concept series where it's just every logo in a roundel.
If I had the ability, I would do that. But
just take everybody's cap logo and put it in a roundel that says baseball club established with the year they were founded.
Well, CNC, please.
Yeah, could you see that? Ladies and gentlemen, Zach's Tabs.
Zach's Tabs!
Oh, very nice.
Thank you.
One of your better ones. I think that would be like a top 5.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, very nice. Take it away, Zach.
Alrighty. We'll start with you in your neck of the woods, Greg. Remember our old friend Jack Johnson?
Yes.
Defenseman, Columbus Blue Jackets?
Yes.
Filed for bankruptcy?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that bankruptcy case has now been kind of brought into another sports-related money scheme. Former NFL cornerback Will Allen has been issued a complaint by the SEC, and not the football one, the Security and Exchanges Commission. The complaint alleges that Allen and an accomplice managed multiple companies known as Capital Financial and offered loans to athletes and raised money from investors and used that money for their own. The SEC claims that the two approximately pulled in $31 million.
And this is the Will Allen that used to be from the Ohio State University, right? Because it wouldn't be a week of Zach's Tabs without a Buckeye doing something stupid.
That's true. That's true. $31 million Ponzi scheme, and it turns out Jack Johnson's involved. In the complaint, it says that an unnamed NHL player, but you connect the dots as to the dates they provide. It says, it's Jack Johnson.
Oh, hey, you know what? I've got good news. It's the other Will Allen. Turns out there's not going to be a stupid Buckeye yet this week. Still time, but not this one.
Still time. Well, speaking of football players doing stupid things, the Aaron Hernandez trial, the jury is still in deliberation.
Wow.
And I guess towards the end of the trial, Hernandez's lawyer, and Hernandez basically turned on the other defendants.
God.
Because the whole time it was like they were trying to charge him for murder. So at the end of it, they said, okay, fine. He was there, but he didn't kill anybody. All of his buddies killed this dude because they were high on PCP.
He's dropping a dime on these guys to try to get his own ass out of trouble.
Yeah, I don't know how well it's going to work, but...
If these people that he ran with were willing to kill 2 guys or however many it was, does he think he can walk out of this and not have to look over his shoulder for the rest of his life?
Especially if he gets off by turning on him. I mean,
I thought I heard something about that the defense that their argument was he was just a young, stupid 22 or 23-year-old kid.
Yeah, that's another part of it.
If he walks by basically turning on his friends, then that could get ugly later on.
I think, too, that the jury being in deliberation this long, that kind of favors the defense, doesn't it? Because, I mean, if it was just locked down case or whatever, they wouldn't have this much. They wouldn't take this much time coming to a verdict.
Yeah, like the Boston Marathon bomber, it was a very quick deliberation before they gave him guilty.
I think that's a little bit more straightforward.
That was a little bit more cut and dry. Yes.
Yeah. Now it's just a matter of whether you kill him or let him sit in prison forever.
Because like the whole thing is like we've got him on tape planting the bombs, but that could be anyone who looks like me.
Yeah.
He'll get the death penalty, and it'll end up spending way more money on that than we would just by locking him up for the rest of his life.
I say lock him up in solitary because the guy is like a jihadist. He's not afraid to die for the cause.
Well, yeah, doesn't that make him some sort of martyr with the cause? So
exactly.
Yeah,
there's a bunch of different ways to say it. Like he should pay, so he should probably die. But
lock him up in solitary for the rest of his life.
Cut his feet off. He'll never do it again.
Bring it back some medieval style punishment.
Yeah, go medieval on his ass, as Marcellus Wallace said in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, what's next?
Anyway, the creator of the meme, the troll face, has been found. His name, Carlos Ramirez. He's 24 years old now. Created it when he was a 18-year-old kid in high school.
Troll face has only been around 6 years?
Yeah.
Ah, it seems like longer than that, doesn't it?
Yeah, he just made it as like a goofy comic one day, posted it on 4chan, didn't think anything of it. Literally didn't look at his computer for 6 days. Came back and all of a sudden he was like the most popular person on 4chan. And he registered a copyright for it in 2010, and since then he's estimated he's made a little over $100,000.
Hey, not bad.
In licensing fees.
Not bad at all, yeah. 6 years. It seems like it's been around longer than that, right?
It does until you start to think about it, and then it makes much more sense that it's only been around for 6 years.
Okay.
Problem? In other online merchandise news, the greatest invention ever has arrived, gentlemen. This is something that we should all own, and I may or may not already have bought 6 of them.
I saw this on your Facebook page, and
this is the greatest thing.
I will be getting one myself.
Stanley Cup?
Yes.
Okay, what is this?
It is an attachment. You put it on top of your beer can. It snaps into place, and you can drink from the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. This is amazing.
It's plastic painted silver, but it they showed a video of them demonstrating it. It legitimately clicks into place on the top of the beer or soda can. Goes a little click click, and then you drink from a hole in the middle of the cup.
Very cool.
Yeah, only $6.
Not bad. Not bad. Speaking of Stanley Cup stuff, I still have my Hershey's Stanley Cup that Mike sent us last year. I thought you ate
still have it
yours.
in the fridge here, and my family's like, "What are you going to do with that thing?" And I thought I hadn't thought about it. I was like, "Well, I don't want to eat it," because I want to keep it. But then I thought about it. I said, you know what? If the Ducks win the Cup, I will eat that.
Oh, okay.
That will be my prize.
Mine is displayed proudly with the rest of my sports memorabilia.
I am impressed that you guys have not given in to temptation and eaten yours.
Nah.
Well, now I have a chocolate bunny to devour. So I have that.
See, I ate mine because I can just pick up another one whenever here.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, well, we're not so special.
Oh, Canada.
Oh, Canada.
Okay.
I'm
going to order one of these. Mike, you want one of these things? The Stanley Cup?
How can I not?
I will make up for the chips that I never sent you by getting you a Stanley Cup or Stanley Cup. I'm writing a note to myself now. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
Note to self.
Note to self. Go ahead, Zach, while I write my notes
plastic
myself.
cup.
Yes.
Oh, how did I forget about this? To Toronto.
Woo!
The Hockey Hall of Fame has a new member of its board of directors.
Okay.
Drum roll, please.
Toronto's Mayor Rob Ford.
Get out of here.
Nope.
I think I like that.
I thought we were past this. I thought we were past Rob Ford being a thing.
Apparently not.
He's not on a committee that elects members.
Thank God.
That's a
The
shame.
city of Toronto gets to appoint a couple people to be on the board of the building. Mm-hmm. He's just there for money spent on the janitorial service.
Yeah, but he's going to make an ass of himself.
Well, now he has direct access to the Stanley Cup.
We're going to get
crack cocaine out of the Stanley Cup.
We're going to see him smoking crack cocaine and drinking beer out of the Stanley Cup, and it's going to be disaster. God damn it! I thought John Tory saved us from this.
I didn't even know Rob Ford was still a thing, or whatever. What are we going with? I guess we don't use thing anymore, but yeah.
He's not the mayor anymore. He's not the mayor, thankfully.
He's not.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You would think he would just kind of just disappear back into the woodwork and go smoke crack.
Well, no, it was actually funny because the not so funny thing is that he dropped out of his re-election campaign because he had cancer.
Oh, that's not funny. Yeah.
But his brother Doug Ford ran in his place. Doug Ford and Olivia Chow both ended up losing to John Tory, who is the new mayor of Toronto. Well, Rob is apparently back from his cancer treatment. I'm not sure how he's doing on that front, but I do know that he then badmouthed his brother by saying, "If I ran, I would have won." He's not going away, even though he's no longer mayor.
That spotlight's a tough thing to give up, man. I would think.
Shh. But the sad thing is that I don't think he's wrong. I think if Rob Ford had run, if it wasn't his brother, if Rob Ford had run, he would have won. You combine the fact that he does have a very small but passionate group of supporters, and then you combine it with all the hipsters in Toronto who would have voted for him, ironically, he would have won.
That's what I love about Canada.
It was just so embarrassing.
Yeah, you guys are fun.
What is next? Let's do two more, then I got to go.
Two more?
Two more, yep.
But, Greg.
Dude, it's 68 degrees outside. The sun just came out. I've got a Harley Davidson in the garage. It's just calling me. Can't you hear it? It's like, Greg, come ride me. Well, that sounds weird. I'm not going to leave that in the show.
Yeah, come ride me, Greg.
Okay, what's next?
Frozen 4 starts tonight, by the way.
Who is it again? I know there's a Nebraska team involved, which I still
Nebraska
can't get over.
Omaha makes
Yeah.
their first appearance, as well as powerhouses Boston University, the team Jack Eichel plays for, North Dakota, and
Another powerhouse.
who else is playing?
Would any of us have picked a Nebraska team to be in the Frozen Four? I know I wouldn't have.
No, it was amazing. They beat out some good teams like Harvard.
I don't pay enough attention to American high school American hockey.
Excuse you. These are proud.
No, but it's like saying, okay, this year in the college football playoff, it's, let's say Auburn, Ohio State, USC, and Rhode Island.
Or that Immaculate Word school. What was it? Did I get that right?
Incarnate Word.
The Incarnate Word. Yeah, them. Yeah. Yes.
Those guys were great.
The Masters started today.
Mike, do you watch the Masters ever?
I don't watch golf at
Neither
all.
do I.
It's in Augusta, Georgia, nestled between the growing dogwoods and the blooming magnolias. The Masters, tradition unlike any other.
On CBS.
Hello, friends.
What about it?
Well, I guess on the Wednesday of the Masters, they always have the par 3 competition. It's kind of a fun thing, you know.
Yes.
Old golfers play.
Yep.
Jack Nicklaus got a hole-in-one.
Yep.
Well, competing in this year's Masters is a Finnish golfer, Mikko Ilonen.
Okay.
And, you know, for these things, you need a caddy, and sometimes they use their regular caddy, or sometimes they'll use a family member or a celebrity or a friend or whoever. There's a certain famous Finn who's kind of got nothing going on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Kinda
really?
likes golf.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
Teemu Solani was a Masters caddy yesterday.
Not bad. Hey, that's a great way to go get to see the thing for free, right?
Well, Teemu loves golf. Last year when he was announcing his final season, they had a video of him on the golf course playing terribly, and that's why he decided to come back.
Yeah, he's on the phone. He's like, okay, I'll do one more year.
Yep.
Well, you know, if you listen to announcers this time of year, everybody in the NHL loves golf because the minute you're eliminated from the playoffs, it's like, well, they'll be hitting the golf course.
One of my favorite things I saw last week when the Sharks finally got eliminated. It's too bad because we knew they were going to wear those teal jerseys ahead of them. The Sharks slogan and the thing they have their fans do, that this is Shark territory. Well, somebody put that sign on a golf course. So.
Nice.
Yep.
All right, is that it?
Yeah, unless you want to talk about a AHL goalie that didn't hear the whistle in a shootout and still made the save.
I think we got to give that a minute. Yeah, let's.
All right, fine.
Yeah.
Well, here's the video.
That's pretty impressive.
The Manchester Monarchs and the Hartford Wolf Pack. They were doing a shootout, and looks like the Manchester goalie. In between shootout attempts, goalies kind of get themselves psyched up. They kind of just stare right at the ice and kind of bend over, get themselves set. Well, the referee blew the whistle.
It's a very intense moment.
Yeah. Well, the referee blew the whistle to start the shot, and the Hartford player, took it and was skating down, and the goalie wasn't moving. He wasn't even looking up at him.
Yeah.
So he was kind of startled, like, what do I do? So he got so close, and he just kind of shot it on net, and it was stopped by the goalie who wasn't even paying attention.
He hit him right in the pad, and the goalie's like, what the fuck?
And the goalie kind of looks up like, what? And so they asked him after the game, and he's like, I didn't hear the whistle. That was Joey Crabb who took the shot. Joey Crabb, proud Maple Leaf, right, Mike?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the franchise's future.
It makes more sense now why the Blue Jays edge out the Maple Leafs just a little bit. I understand now. All right. Follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports. Go to the website, basicallyasportshow.com. Follow us on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, and YouTube. And with that, I got nothing left to say.
Okay.
Go, Jays, go!
Go Jets,
Jays,
go! Go Flames,
Jets, go!
Yeah, go Jets, go Flames.
Screw
by the
you,
way,
Los Angeles.
I think I'm even going to say something I don't think I've ever said in my life. Go Senators.
Yeah, sure.
That's
Why not?
strange.
They're
Okay.
playing
Screw you, Kings. Screw you.
Yeah, by the time that we have the show next week, the Stanley Cup Playoffs will have started, gentlemen.
Yes, and we will have the official unveiling of the new Cleveland Browns uniform, so lots to look forward to.
Yes, indeed.
Which
All
will
right.
be coupled with Greg's announcement of his new AFC team.
That's right. I was going to say, too, if you've got suggestions and you would like me to follow your AFC team, hit us up on Twitter or on the boards and let me know what you think in the Basically Sports Show thread.
Don't bother sending in your suggestion, guys. It's the Colts.
Okay,
Chargers.
We'll see.
Indianapolis Colts.
All right. And on that note, we're going to call it a night. We will see you next time.
Bye.
See ya.
Please hang up and try again.